Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Still looking for Mr. Goodbar. Ladies, you know I hate to say something about this. Because, you know what, I talk to a lot of women out here, right? Talk to a lot of women, and a lot of women, say they looking for like that good man, that righteous man, that man who has a job, a job, all of that, right? That do right man, right? You say that in public spaces, you say that around your friends, you tell your minister that. But many women, and this is not just a young girl thing, you got women in their 50s and 60s still looking for Mr. Goodbar. And Mr. Goodbar, that's an allegory actually for that man who's like rich chocolate, like you just want to indulge him. You want to be intoxicated by him, right? And the problem with it is that intoxication wears off. And usually here's the pattern. You get a woman, she gets caught up with some Mr. Goodbar type, He turns her out. he turns her out, makes her feel good, got her smiling, got her toes curling and everything. And that's good. Good sex is great. But, he make you laugh, all that, give you that feeling of intoxication that, some people mistakenly call love, right? But it's just infatuation, to be honest, right? You gotta, what'll happen is a woman to get that guy. But see, the problem is, guys like that tend to spread themselves among many women. They tend to be self-centered, and you gotta share it. You gotta share that man. And then once he's tired of you, he dismisses you, kind of like the maid, right? And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. A man's going to get arrogant and self-centered and all of that if women constantly throwing it at him. And that's usually what the case is. But usually what'll happen is, a woman get caught up with a Mr. Goodbar, he'll turn her out and everything, and then, off some pretext, he'll move on to the next woman, right? On some pretext, right? He'll move on to the next woman. And then what'll happen is the women will complain about men. They'll get on these forums and everything, complain all about men, right? Oh, men is all of this, right? Men are doing this. And it's ironic, and it's particularly in the black community, when women are complaining. You're talking about 8% of the men. Seriously, you're talking about a small percentage of men, right? But they'll spread this, they'll project this onto the other 90%. Oh, these men are bad. But funny things happen. Because once a woman gets addicted to that intoxication, it's like any addict. Yeah, you might get off it for a while, but like an addict, you're going to go look for it again. And usually what happens, the pattern, woman meets Mr. Goodbar, he turns her out, she gets addicted. Mr. Goodbar drops the woman because somebody else has made themselves available to him. Woman complains about men like crazy, and even some good guys. She'll take it out on the good guy who ain't doing all that, actually has good intentions towards her, right? But then as soon as you look up, she's swooning in the arms of another Goodbar. Now, some women, and it's to the point where some women are still single. I know women in their 50s, 40s, and 50s. Actually, in still decent shape. The wall hasn't hit them too badly. And, a lot of women, manage to skip that wall, right? Or postpone it as long as possible, right? But she's still looking for it. In fact, some of these women chasing young boys and stuff, cougars and stuff, they still looking for Mr. Goodbar, Women who are willing to pay gigolos thousands of dollars. I think minimum $350 an hour. Still looking for Mr. Goodbar. Now, I understand the pleasure part. I understand the pleasure. And one of the big things I do with men is to help them to understand that and to give them tools to develop the ability to deliver that pleasure, right? You know, but here's where the issue come in. If you just want sex and everything and you want to live that life where you chasing one good bar after the other, that's on you. But what happens is the same women tend to want to settle down. And a lot of times when women complain about all these men don't want to settle down, once again, you're talking about the 8%. You're talking about the good bars. And no, they don't. But then you have some guys who are good guys. Good guys. And actually, if given a chance, would probably be better in bed. If given a chance. Because one of the things Mr. Goodbar does, Mr. Goodbar gets you more aroused in the beginning. He turns you on in the beginning, right? You know, he got you fired up in the beginning, so you think it's going to be better. That what makes it better. But a lot of times, they might not be all that good. And sometimes, in some cases, a woman, she'll roll from the good bar. In some cases, because after a while, it gets old. You know, you hit any drug enough, you develop somewhat of an immunity. It can't get you hot like it did the first time, right? So all I'm saying is this. Sometimes women, y'all got to keep it in perspective when y'all deal with certain men. If y'all really want a guy, y'all got to keep it in perspective. The best thing is y'all got to have a balance. See, and it goes back to some of the stuff I said earlier, because a lot of all those good bars aren't good guys. And a lot of those guys are the type who like leaving babies all over the place, dogging out women, all of that. And those are the good ones. We won't get into the demon lovers. All right. The thing is, yes, you love the pleasure, but sometimes you gotta balance it out, because you sometimes if you get like, say a woman gets a good bar, but he's one of these broke good bars, because you know, good bar types aren't required to spend money. If a dude got to spend money, he's not on a good bar thing. He just has to bring good dick, right? Sometimes a few women will manage to marry him, but then when the lights go out, they want the dude to all of a sudden go from being a party guy, the feel-good guy, to the responsible working guy. And which is funny, because sometimes if he does become the responsible working guy, they don't want him anymore. So, I mean, that's an important thing. You know, that's the important thing. So, I mean, yeah. And it's, you know what? It's deep. It's deep on many levels, because one of the things we're not talking about this in relationships. We really aren't. We really aren't talking about these things. And, of course, a lot of women don't want to admit that that's what they're doing. They just chasing Mr. Goodbar, because like any addict, you know, you go up to somebody, say you using that heroin or that I know it's heroin, but you know, slang sometimes heroin, or opiates or something like that. They ain't going to be like, oh yeah, I'm using it. No, you're going to be in denial. It's just like an alcoholic is in denial. I had a lady friend who had to finally admit she was an alcoholic. You're in denial about these things. And it's the same thing with the Mr. Goodbar thing. Now, like I said, I get the sex thing, but sometimes you do have to balance it out. And sometimes you give some of these good guys a chance, shoot, they'll turn you out. I've met plenty of women, they gave a good guy a chance, and he turned them out. So, you want to think about it, ladies. Like, you really have to think about it. Because one of the saddest things I've seen is women doing just that. Right? Just stuck on a vicious pattern of just chasing Mr. Goodbar. Just think about it, right? Now, like I said, I'm working with the good guys to get them to that level, so you can get a good guy who can turn you out, right? I'm working on to that level. So anyway, that's it. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.